Hey, what's up, all you nerf herders out there? I'm Duuz-Diz-Din, and I am coming at you with my best mate and buddy. What you calling yourself?
Go with Iron G993.
Okay, I like that. The man with the iron giblets, if I'm correct. Okay, so One Piece, dude, dude.
Where do we even begin?
So, what have been your thoughts on, ever since we hit chapter 1000 up to where we're at right now?
First off, when we hit chapter one, when One Piece hit chapter 1000, I mean, first off, I had to be, I had to imagine Oda just was like fucking beyond excited to be at this point. I mean, God, the guy's been working on it for 20 plus fucking years. Are you kidding me? I can't even work on shit for 20 plus fucking minutes.
Ain't that the truth? It's that uphill struggle, but you really got to give it to the people who can actually just take the time out to make good content, to do fun and fascinating and interesting things.
I
But
mean, like just the mere fact that he'll talk about like real issues presented in a relevant and surprising way in a lot of instances. For fuck's sake, I didn't think he'd touch on shit like slavery or racism, and holy shit, there we go. There it is.
and it's a very prominent factor in this series too. Like it's everywhere to some degree. In some way, it is everywhere.
I
But
think Oda is just being way less subtle about it than like, well, I won't say he's being way less subtle. It's just kind of like another way of saying, yeah, no, this shit is not an isolated incident. It's everywhere, guys. It's pretty much everywhere. We got to do something about it.
right. But okay, I want to get your thoughts on more recent events though. What has been your thoughts in
Okay.
terms of the battle between the five supernovas and the two Yonko?
All right, I want to start with Eustace Kid. Um, we don't get to see much of him as is, so it was really, really nice to see the extent to which he can take his powers. Because the second I saw the first time I saw the punk rotten, I just thought, kid, how long have you been sitting on this? How the like this is the coolest shit I've ever fucking seen in Wano. And I had said that when Basil Hawkins had done his weird straw golem thing. I
I
want to see more of the supernovas. I want to see them fight against each other. I want to see them team up with each other. More than this. These characters are so much like they're so much fun just to speculate on what their powers can do. And obviously Oda is the one who gets to play with them like the absolute uh, the canon way, I guess we'll put it.
right, right.
He's really incredible.
I mean, like
Law is actually surprisingly much funnier. Much, much funnier just because um much funnier just because of the just the one moment that Luffy can instigate to get everybody to follow what he says.
I mean, he was the person with the most control in the situation. That really is the thing that is giving him the most, I want to say, sway in terms of all of this. because he was able to get in the first hit. He was able to get the most damage right out the gate. So it's just like with that first volley, that emboldened them to the point where they were able to just say, we could actually do this. We might actually be able to take these two fuckers down.
Yeah, because I'm noticing, like, kid, you had a pattern lately. You will like, you capitalize on Luffy's momentum by adding your own to it. Because because like Luffy has been the one getting the first hit, and then Kid will like, he will capitalize on it. He'll just like be like, oh, okay, you're hitting him. Let me just fucking hit him some more or some shit.
But if nothing else, I feel like that's kind of always been the kind of trope we've seen where Luffy runs in, he does his thing, takes it to the bad guy, and then that gives the opportunity for everyone else to do their own thing. Because we kind of saw that a little bit in Dressrosa as well, with Luffy goes in on Doflamingo while Law's just doing his best to just mop up where he can, get in hits where he can. That's kind of his whole thing.
Um, hmm, damn. Let's see. I Okay. So what I want to see more of from Kid is initiative. I guess is the word I'm looking for. Because you know, back when they were in the prison, he and Luffy were talking just as big. Like, I'm gonna take down that bastard Kaido. But so far, Luffy's the one who is just charging in ahead of everybody else. He's
Hmm.
just like, I'm not waiting for this shit anymore. I have trained. I've put in the effort. I'm going for it. Let's go.
Which I find particularly funny because back in the prison when they first got the prison break, they had taken over things, taking control of Babanuki and all the other beast pirates and all that good stuff. First thing Kid did, break out, say, I'm not working with you bastards. He wanders off to do his own thing. Next thing you know, he appears where else? Right next to Luffy.
So basically, Kid is just like the Tsundere.
He really does come off that way, doesn't he? I mean, it's not. See, what you're saying is very true. He really does just follow Luffy's momentum in a lot of ways. And I think that has kind of been the biggest downfall of his character. Because after he was introduced, you had that great moment where you have Kid, Luffy, Law, all standing side by side. Oda was trying to paint this picture that all three of them were on some form of equal footing. But as time has gone on, you know, the belief that that was true keeps diminishing in some way, shape, or form. You know, during the course of Dressrosa, it wasn't Law who took down Doflamingo, it was Luffy. And even here, it wasn't Kid who learned how to be able to actually get in strikes on Kaido, it was Luffy. I mean, yeah, he's the main protagonist, but if you wanted to portray these guys as rivals to Luffy, best way would have probably have been to actually help have them have feats like Luffy or something.
Yeah, so far it seems like the only thing that they have going for them is like Law is basically smarter than Luffy, and Kid is there.
It's kind of a low bar, honestly
Listen,
speaking.
I love Eustace Kid. Okay, he is. a low hanging fruit, guys. Like okay, so you remember at Sabodi where like the three of them are, about to challenge the world government, and Kid stood like in the middle as, top dog, number one, because at the time he had the highest bounty. Now it's just like the dynamic is shifting, boys. Kid, you're not best boy no more.
And I feel that it's a lot of it comes from the fact that, when you think about it, Kid just keeps losing in some way, shape, or form. At least with Law, he had some great moments here and there that really stood out. But every time we catch up with Kid, something is kind of going wrong. Ever since the time skip. Because with the time skip, we left him literally crucifying his enemies. But after time skip, what do we see? Oh, he's lost an arm, apparently to Shanks. Like, damn, dude. But it was against a Yonka. What can you do? But then in comes crashing in Kaido, who handedly beats the shit out of Kid, which I feel that people give Kid a little too much flack for that because ultimately Luffy didn't fare much better when challenging Kaido. But
No,
again, track record not so great. So it really hasn't been working out for him too well.
I mean, I think that's a pretty. I like that as a dynamic because it shows that like kids like in a he's basically in like the lowest place he's ever been right now.
Mm. But I wonder what does that mean for the long run though? Because Luffy's dynamic with the supernovas has really been all over the place, which is fun. They're a good spanner in the works, if nothing else. But, with Kid constantly being propped up by Oda to be this significant feature, and, he treats all the other supernovas as, oh, they're cool. We like them. We'll bring them in to have a little fun with them from time to time. But Luffy, Kid, Law, they're the main event. And you can believe that with Law, because Law is so cool. He constantly ranks high in popularity polls. And Luffy, main character. Of course he's popular. But Kid? Oof. He's got
He
a.
looks cool.
I was about to say that. It's like he's got a cool design. I like his Magneto powers.
I like what he does with his Magneto power. It's very, very metal. But they're really just like that. There's not much else going for him. Like he's trying to do that rival thing with Luffy. I don't want Oda to turn Eustace Kid into Kiba.
It really does feel that way, doesn't it?
Don't do that. Like I liked Kid. He was cool. I mean, I still think he's really cool. I mean, he's really one dimensional right now. So like, can we like delve into like the downswing he's been on in the past 2 years? Because clearly he's been going through some shit.
Yeah.
While everybody else was getting better, apparently Eustace Kid just got worse.
And not to mention, it was it was really driven home that, oh, Kid's more ruthless. That's the thing that brought his bounty above Luffy's. Whereas, Luffy, he would avoid the occasional fight, but he tended to end up in a lot of skirmishes here and there on the wrong side of the wrong person from time to time. Usually because he decided to open his mouth when he shouldn't have, but what can you do? With Kid, it's just like, no, he went looking for a fight time and time again. He went looking for that fight. And
So I guess now we're seeing what happens when you find when you go looking for a fight like that.
basically, it really does feel like that way because it really does feel like Kid is the consequence of looking for the wrong fight in the wrong place. He's like the unfortunate direction that Luffy could have gone.
Yeah, I mean, fuck's sake. At least Killer wears a mask. Can you imagine a permanently smiling and guffawing Zoro?
Ooh, yeah, no, no, I don't want that. Cause I'm gonna be real. That's kind of scary to think about.
Right? He would occasionally have like a little chuckle when they're acting a bunch of fools, but most of the time he's pretty stoic and serious. But no, if he's like constantly just like no. But
Um,
I do love the back and forth between Killer and Zoro, where Zoro is just basically reminding him, "I got this, bro. I beat your ass before, so clearly I'm the top dog here."
and it really does kind of show the ridiculous strength that seems to be coming off of Zoro, especially in this fight, because like this chapter alone, you think about it, when Kaido lets off that blast of wind scythes, I guess you could say, just slicing through the battlefield like shit. One of those things took off Kiku's arm, god damn it. And whereas everyone else is dodging and kids just like, oh, it cut through my metal, it's scrap. What the fuck do I care? But Zoro, nah, he literally deflects that shit, and it's just like, excuse me? Like, damn, dude.
Zoro has just been just okay. I said it in Whole Cake Island. Brook was the fucking MVP with the play of the game, just the way he pulled one over on Big Mom. Zoro is the goddamn goat of Wano. All right. Honorable mentions are Kozuki Oden, who I'm glad we're seeing, you know, like now in the anime, but dead ass. Zoro gets like all the top goals here. Like he's fought three supernovas in this in the entirety of this arc and won. He legit just won against three of the other supernovas. Like
Yeah.
maybe
Oh,
one or two close calls, but no, Zoro won.
although I will say the fight with Drake was kind of like, it was obvious he wasn't putting his best in, but it feels like he probably would have won that one too.
Of course. Zoro doesn't fuck around with that shit. He said he would never lose again. He meant it.
Oh man. And I've been hearing a lot of theories about the whole situation going on with Zoro because I'm gonna be real, it's been wild that he's been so determined to cut down Kaido. Like he's treated this like it's been his job in this situation. And a lot of people are speculating that maybe it's like Odin's will inside of Enma. Because you had that moment where Zoro's going in, charging up Enma with Haki, getting ready to slice Kaido down, and Big Mom had to be like, yo, dumbass, dodge that shit. Do not tank that. Do not tank that.
I'm honestly gonna believe that. I really do. Like, I mean, seriously, Zoro has been just thriving in Wano in just about the exact same way Odin did. And realistically, just the simple fact that they both technically use two sword styles. Zoro just uses three because, he inherited Kuina's sword.
And he's just extra like that.
Of course, he's just extra like that. man, Zoro is thriving in Wano. He's impressed a woman. Remember, Zoro's 19. Hiyori's 26. Hiyori was trying to hit that. He was trying to hit the.
And you know what the real sad part of all of this has been? Whole Cake Island, that was supposed to be Sanji's story. That was straight out called Sanji's story. And yeah, Sanji had some moments, don't get me wrong. And hell, he actually managed to kind of get him some with a girl. Not to the extent that he probably would have wanted. And, well, she erased his memories of all that. But he had some fun moments. But man, Zoro's putting all that to shame.
Zoro got the baddest bitch in the whole ass country, and he don't even want her.
Now, don't get it twisted. Luffy did that first, like with Boa
Oh yeah,
Hancock, but
mm-hmm.
still,
Bro,
though.
dude, dead ass. The two of them have the biggest dick energy.
It just goes to show, you want you some, do not overplay your hand. Make it seem like you don't want none of that, and they will come running. Not a good example for the
Evidently,
children. Not a good example for the children.
no, no, no.
Like,
What
please,
children watching this?
you'd be surprised. But please, people, treat your women right. Treat your women right. Don't do this. Don't just hit it and quit it, man. Come on, come on.
I mean, quit it if it's not doing it for you. But like, you know.
In that case, you're free to do whatever you please. I ain't your daddy, but just be respectful.
Okay, so let's see what other. Honestly, in chapter 1001, I was way underwhelmed with Law's performance in battle.
Oh, his
The fact that
tactic
he
of
went,
just throw rocks at it.
yeah, right? Like, Law, you're smarter than that. The fuck you doing throwing rocks?
Now, I was thinking that same thing too, but you really do see it here, if nothing else, in 1002, where he's just popping all over the place using what? Rocks. So, if you think of it like that, kinda.
Well, that's the thing. When we got to 1002 and he just threw all those gamma knives right into Kaido's, somewhere around the heart area, that was when I was impressed because it's just like, finally, Law, you're using your powers in a constructive way instead of just getting your ass beat constantly. Rosa was that was Law's chance to like really, really step up. Like he had his moment on Punk Hazard. He had his moment on Punk Hazard, but we really had to sit through that beating first. Like we really had to sit through Law getting them cheeks clapped. Virgo beat the shit out of him.
You're not wrong. Virgo walked up in there like he was Law's daddy. He's just like, come here, boy. I'm gonna teach you a thing or two.
Now, credit where it's due. Law turned that shit around, and I am so very proud of him for it. But, dude, you get to dress Rosa, and it's just like that shit kept happening and happening and happening and happening, and it's just like, Law, you basically just poked a bear that you knew was gonna maul you, and then you expect us to just kind of sit here and act surprised when you get mauled.
Now, one thing I will say, and it's hard to say if this is in defense of law or not because of the words that are about to come out of my mouth, but I get the feeling Law knew that he was poking a bear, and that's why he brought the Straw Hats and not his actual crew. Because it was like, well, this is my one chance to really just dick over Doflamingo for everything, and I kind of don't expect to live through this. If I do, cool. If I don't, well, I really fucked up his week, if nothing else. So, there we go.
That is fair, but I mean, my God, that is that is a fucking gamble if I've ever seen one.
I mean, I have to be serious. Like, Law really just does not bring his crew into much situations. And I'm just like, Law, you'd probably fare better if you had some goddamn backup.
I honestly, genuinely think Law keeps these people around because, like, you know, he seems like the best one out of all of them. Like, he just picks up losers, and it's just like, all right, I got it. You just stay put. But like, I can do stuff. No, 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 no. I do stuff. You just stand there and look cool.
Because it's just like, at least here you have, you know, Luffy rolls up with his top combatant Zoro. Kid rolls up with his top combatant Killer. Law rolls up with his sword. I'm like, yo, at least bring Beppo with you. Like, Kung Fu Polar Bear. Like, can't he use, like, hockey or something? Like, come on, man.
I guess not. I guess Oda just does not like Beppo. Or just like, he just recognized, like, man, this bear can't do shit. And if I put him in this fight now, people are probably just going to be like, what the fuck is this bear? How long has this bear been able to do this?
Man, I wanted to see Beppo throw some hands, though. He's a friggin' bear. Come on.
You know what? Sulong Beppo would have been fucking great here. You're
Right?
right. You
This
are
was
right
the
about
time. This was the time.
wasted fucking opportunity.
Mm. Although, Sulong pretty much everyone else, still pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, one thing that really did kind of catch me off guard, and I don't know how you felt about it, the fuck did Killer do? And don't take that in,
Yo!
don't take that in the wrong context. Killer was pretty awesome, but what was that attack?
No, 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 no. So, yes, that shit was fucking hype as shit. I don't know what the fuck he did. I really would like an answer because that was cool as hell. But what the fuck was that?
It's just like,
Same thing. It's the same thing with Zoro's Ashura shit.
right?
Like, can they just like can he use Ashura at this point, and then they just kind of like comment on it? It's like, oh, you can do that too. Yeah. Do you know what that is? If if neither of them knew how they did it, they just knew that they did it. I would accept that, but I want them to call attention to it.
Like, seriously, I have yet. I've been trying to figure it out myself, honestly, because Zoro's Ashura is the most major anomaly ever. And don't get me wrong, Sanji's Diable Jambe, that I'm like, the physics behind that's pretty bullshit. But you got Zoro over there doing his nine sword style bullshit, and I'm just like, oh honey, no. What the fuck is that? How you doing that? Like, I've been racking my brain like, is it hockey? No, Haki would explain Sanji's Diable Jambe, actually, because of Luffy's Red Hawk. Is it Something to do with swords? No, because he can do it with pretty much any sword. Uh, uh,
I I actually have a thought. So you remember how the Kitetsu is cursed?
yeah.
I don't know if it's like the sole reason. I just think it might be a contributing factor.
I
Like
mean,
maybe he does have like an like because it's called like a demon aura.
hmm.
So clearly it's some kind of aura trick that we don't really know about because Oda uh, doesn't really touch on it in a way that we would understand.
You have a
But that's the best
point.
information I've got.
You do have a point. Although it really does bring to question. He has the. I think it's the Sandai Kitetsu.
Yeah,
Um, yeah. But we were also introduced to the Nidai Kitetsu, the sword that Luffy just straight up like stole from Hitetsu, ran off and was
yeah.
just like, "I'm gonna take this and use it in every way that a sword shouldn't be used."
Zoro's over here just like, yo, let me see your sword. No, bro, let me see your sword. I said no. It's like, my dude, I just want to see a sword.
And I'm pretty sure that one was cursed too.
Yeah, they're all supposed to be cursed.
Yeah.
I know one of the I know one of the five elders is supposed to have like the first one, Shodai Kitetsu.
Hmm.
So like, I guess we'll see how that's going, especially considering the warlords have been dissolved. And
Ooh.
now I guess the world government's going on the warpath.
See, that was the funny thing too, because it was just like, yo, Fujitora was railing for that. He was just like, the warlord system doesn't work. It needs to be abolished. Get that weak ass shit out of here. And that moment, I love the way it was done in the anime because you got Cobra and you got King Riku basically being like, yo, it happened twice. That's not a lot, but consider all things considered, it's weird that it happened that many times.
Like the fact that it happened that many times should be cause for concern. The fact that it's not is cause for concern.
Right. And not to mention, the one thing that I kind of realized about the first half of the Grand Line called Paradise, very nice, that was the area under the most control by the world government. Like every step of the way, there was some involvement with the government. The downside was that every step of the way where it was a pirate involvement, it was usually a warlord. Alab- let's see, Laboon, Baroque Works, you know, Whiskey Peak, Baroque Works, Little Garden, Baroque Works, Drum Kingdom, nothing there. Nobody wanted to touch the Drum Kingdom. It's too
Except
cold.
except Wapple, but Wapple's an idiot.
Yeah, basically. But then you get to Alabaster. It's they all over that shit. But then you get to Skypiea. Whereas Skypiea, nothing really going on there. But Jaya, Doflamingo's men control that place. You get to Water 7. Ooh, you got CP9 crawling over that shit. You,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And then where did we go from Water 7 and NL's lobby? You go to Thriller Bark under the control of who else? Gecko Moria, one of the
Another
warlords.
warlord.
And then we get to Saboti. And where is Saboti located? Right
Red
next
line.
to Marine HQ, close
Right
to
on
the
the red
red
line.
line. And Celestial Dragons just rolling up in that shit. Like, and then even going past that, Fishman Island under the control of Jinbei, a warlord. Though,
Well,
more Big Mom.
yeah, Big Mom now, because you know, uh, Jinbei's warlord title was relinquished as soon as he decided, I'm not fighting Whitebeard. The fuck? The fuck? He keeps my home safe.
And that was one thing I noticed about when you go past Saboti, you see more and more of the influence of the emperors on that side of the red line. Because while Jinbei, warlord in control of Fishman Island, oh, it was actually under control of one of the emperors, Whitebeard, and then Big Mom. Yet dealing with Punk Hazard. Oh, Caesar Clown dealing with Joker, a warlord, but Joker is underneath Kaido. So it's just like you see that power dynamic literally split down both halves of the Grand Line. One hand, you had an entire area controlled by the world government in some way, shape, or form. But on the other side, ooh, the emperors run this shit, bitch. You do not want to step to any of these motherfuckers.
These are the motherfuckers that the government is afraid of because just one of them basically almost fucking annihilated their entire force.
Right?
To the point where my fucking hero red hair Shanks just fucking rolled up, said, "Hey, y'all cut this war shit out right now." And they cut that war shit out right there.
And the funny thing about that too is that, yo, you get that moment where it's just like, oh, world government clash with a Yonko. They barely making it through. Another Yonko rolls up and say, you need to stop. It's just like, man, we just got done with one of you motherfuckers. Yeah, fine, we stop it. We ain't got enough in us to be dealing with another one of you assholes.
Go, give us the bodies, and we'll be on our way.
Right? And and it really highlights why the government was just pissing themselves the moment everyone caught wind of the fact that Kaido and Big Mom entered into alliance, because it's just like, oh, come on, one of them's bad enough, but two, no, no.
Even better because like these two are the last remaining members of the Rocks Pirates that are still alive, as far as we know.
As far as we know. Because remember, Shiki was also a member of the Rocks Pirates.
Yeah. Isn't he like canonically dead?
Dude, who the hell knows? Because let's be real, the way. I will never forget this. The way Wapple was launched off of Drum Kingdom, he should have been dead. like like he got lucky. So
I mean,
anything could have happened.
you could say the same thing for Buggy. You could
Mm.
really say the same thing for Buggy. They made a whole episode about that shit. It was
Mm.
fucking hilarious. Mini Buggy is adorable. He's non-threatening and adorable and a fucking idiot.
But that's why we love him, though.
Yeah. I mean, fuck, dude. Buggy is a very creative user of his devil fruit, but he is a goddamn idiot.
And it is, man, I feel like Oda is playing a long game with Buggy, though. Because, at first, when Buggy was introduced, and it's just like, oh, he was on the same crew as Shanks. And it's just like, hmm, okay, that's interesting. Oh, that,
Then you find out Shanks' crew was fucking Roger's crew.
right. And it's just like, okay, that raises questions. A lot of questions. But you brush it off again. And then you get introduced to the likes of Silver's Rayleigh and all that shit. And it's just like, hmm, a lot of strong motherfuckers came off of this crew. Buggy, why do you feel like the very odd man out? I'm gonna be real. I'm very suspicious that there's something deeper going on with Buggy, man. Like Oda could play it off for shits and giggles, like, oh no, he's just funny, man. He's just here for laughs. Or it's just like you find out something about Buggy that's just like, no, No.
I wouldn't be surprised. Buggy, I'm pretty sure Buggy's one of Oda's favorites.
Oh, of course. Dude, the concept for Zoro had him originally on Buggy's crew.
Yeah, yeah, I remember seeing it. I'm reading through the manga from like the very, very beginning, and I saw it.
It's just like that's the thing that really kind of catches me off guard because I'm just like, and that's another thing too because Buggy, I feel like Buggy is has had an interesting development cycle in terms of not just the story but concept too because you get to the first story of Romance Dawn, you had the characters of Crescent Moon Galley, Luffy, and Silk. Silk goes on to become Nami, Luffy becomes Luffy, and Crescent Moon Galley then becomes this pirate Spinel who has this weird magical powers. He's a witch basically. But then you get that same kind of transition where I think he becomes Buggy. So I think like Oda has had this idea for this character who would just remain prominent in the series throughout. Because when you got to the end of the original story, Romance Dawn, you had Silk on Luffy's crew as well as Crescent Moon Galley. And I'm like, something is going to happen with Buggy. I don't think he'll join up with Luffy, but something prominent is going to happen with Buggy.
They're they're already kind of like sneaking it in that Buggy is like like it, their dynamic. Buggy and Luffy is we're best friends. He just doesn't know it yet. It's kind of like that right now. Like I get that vibe. Like Buggy does not want to admit that he actually cares about Luffy's well-being or anything like that. But when you watch like 3D 2Y, it's just like Buggy, you're showing a bit more vested interest in Luffy succeeding than you normally would have, say 500 episodes prior.
Hmm. That really is the thing that makes me wonder. Because not to mention, there had to be something significant about both Shanks and Buggy not going to where the One Piece actually was.
Yeah, right. There's like he obviously Oda wouldn't just like have that be a thing if it wasn't important. Makes me wonder if Shanks actually has seen the One Piece yet, or if he actually, never got to because he left his hat with Luffy.
Right? And not to mention, speaking of Shanks, I will be damned if not for the fact that Shanks, one of the first Yonko we're ever introduced to, though he wasn't a Yonko at the time, first Yonko we're introduced to, and as time has gone on, we know less about Shanks than any of the other Yonko out there right now. We don't know shit about Shanks. We've only ever seen one of his territories, and that's because Bartolomeo had the good idea of burning his flag down. Oh god. And then we know that he cut off Kid's arm.
Also, isn't Elbaf supposed to be one of his territories?
I don't remember hearing that, but honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, shit, like, real talk. It's so hard to tell where things are going with Shanks because he keeps popping up in weird places and it's always the most dramatic thing possible.
Hmm.
I mean, just think about it. You know, first time we see Shanks after, he's become a Yonko. Because he only became a Yonko 6 years ago. And so, first time we see him, he's meeting up with Mihawk. And it's just like, oh, Mihawk knows Shanks? That's wild. Next time we see him, at least as far as I can remember, he's strolling up on Whitebeard's ship saying, yeah, do not have Ace go after Blackbeard. That guy managed to scar me. And that raises even more questions. Like, what happened that Blackbeard scarred Shanks? When did that happen? Why did that happen? And he makes it very significantly known. Next thing you
I
know,
mean
you're.
that.
Hmm, what's up?
I mean that much. We at least finally got to see the answer to. Like how did Blackbeard scar Shanks? We see that.
Wait, when did we see that?
You okay? So you remember Roger and Whitebeard fighting, and they split the sky. And after this fight, Odin joins up with Roger.
Huh, yeah.
Yeah, it was during that fight.
Huh. I
Like
don't
he
remember.
basically, yeah, Whitebeard, sorry, Blackbeard wounded Shanks when they were basically still little chitlins.
Huh. I'm gonna have to read read that because I could have sworn I remember him not walking away with a scar, but hell, fuck. It's so much going on in this series, it might as well have happened. But
Well, the thing is, like, as far as I know, that's like the only time the two of them have ever interacted. So that would have had to have been the only, when he did it, just by that reasoning. Because like it's never like outright shown, but I think like they mention it or it's just like heavily implied.
oh no, I'm looking at it right now. He didn't have a scar. I'm looking at the scene when they got back from Laughtale. He doesn't have a scar.
Huh.
I just quickly went to the wiki, and it's just like Shanks's outfit when Roger Pirates arrived at Laughtale, and yeah, no scar. He has the straw hat, but no scar.
Hmm. Well, that's odd.
Yeah. And I remember thinking that when we got out of the flashback, because I thought that would have been the place that we saw him get the scar. Like, that was going to be the moment. But I remember thinking, oh, so he didn't get the scar? Then when does he get the scar? What happens? Why does it happen? It really caught me
Hmm.
off guard.
I think I've overlooked that detail because I thought that was when he got the scar.
The only reason I remember not seeing it is because I was deliberately looking for it. Like during that entire flashback, with everything else that was going on, I'm just like, okay, so when does he get the scar? 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 And then he never did. And I'm just like, huh? But, but, huh? Weird. But at the same time, like I think you have like almost a around like a decade of time between the two events of when we last see them meet and then later on, so anything could pretty much happen.
Mhm.
Because we end things with him being 14, and then next thing you see, he's 27. And he has the scar, and that's during Luffy's flashback to when Shanks got his arm bitten off.
Hmm.
So that's a decent amount of time in between. I feel like Oda's setting something major up with Blackbeard, because something else that has been kind of widely contested. Do you remember back in Jaya, the first time we ever met Blackbeard?
Yeah.
You Luffy said something that has stuck with a lot of people, and I've thought about it as well, and I couldn't come up with any kind of answer. Maybe it was a translation error, but people have said that it's very similar in the Japanese version too. And Nami says when they're walking away with Blackbeard giving his whole speech that the dreams of pirates will never die. Nami says that he's a weird guy. And Luffy corrects her by saying they. Like, don't you mean they? And Zoro confirms this as well. And I nobody has come
So
up. Hmm?
I don't remember that at all.
I only think about it because it gets brought up in every Blackbeard video I see. That question of how is he able to wield two devil fruits, and what did Luffy mean by they?
That suddenly, I get the feeling Rox Diesebek is somehow alive within Blackbeard.
See, that's what I'm thinking too. Because, you know, everyone and their mother has pointed out that Blackbeard ship that we originally saw him on, that weird
The
ass
Spear of
ship,
Zebek.
yes, the Saber of Zebek. And it's just like, what? What? What's the connection there? Is Zebek his father? Relative?
What is Zebek to fucking Blackbeard, people?
There's so many questions, and that's the thing that makes me kind of question. It's just like, oh, One Piece is gonna end soon. Like, yo, dude, we've gotten so few answers. Like, for every answer we get, there feels like five more questions pop up. Like, I don't know, man. It's just really questioning all of this. Like, where does it begin? Where does it end? How much can really be just solved within, like, maybe 5 years? I feel like we need, like, 10 years to, like, complete all of this.
If Oda somehow manages to, in the next 5 years, answer every question we've ever had, like effortlessly, I I will start calling him Goda like everyone else does.
It really does feel that way. It really makes you wonder, don't it?
I, you know what? I feel like he did the whole God Usopp thing because people were doing that to him already.
Oh my god, I absolutely cherish the God Usopp moment. Like it lives forever in my heart.
I mean, honestly, the the setup for it is what makes it so good because you
Mm.
think like, fuck, is he really about to go back to all this same ass bullshit that he's always been doing? Come on, we thought you were better than this, Usopp. No, he's better than that. He's just really good at pulling success out of his ass.
See, one thing that was pointed out to me with that because everybody was feeling that like Usopp, we thought you were past this, man. When Robin was turned into a toy, a lot of the memories associated with Robin went out the window as well. So a theory is that a lot of that character development that Usopp got, A lot of that came from that moment in Water 7 and NL's lobby. And all of that centered around Robin. So that creates like gaps in a lot of his memories. So a theory is that because of that, Usopp lost a good chunk of character development. It's a bit of a
Damn.
stretch, but still.
I mean, it makes sense when you point it out like that. Like, it's kind of hard to argue that. It's just like it makes too much freaking sense.
Yeah, because it's just like it was like it really got on a lot of people's nerves, and I can't blame them because it's just like Usopp, dude, you've been in worse situations than this.
Mm.